What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Phoenix Suns, and we're going to be talking about why this team is in a class of their own, and we're going to jump right into the video. Now, when I look at this Phoenix Suns team from the beginning of the season up into the point where we are right now, this is a team that plays with a hunger, and they play with a vengeance every single night. And we all know that they fell short to the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals last season, and then they've also had to deal with the haters saying that last year's playoff run was a fluke or that they got lucky with other teams having injuries. And the Phoenix Suns, looking at them play, and I love this about them, they play with a chip on their shoulder every single night, and they play hard every single night, and they're out to get back to the promised land, and they're out to prove those haters wrong while doing it. Now, with that being said, there's a bunch of things, a bunch of factors that separate the Phoenix Suns from the rest of the NBA. And I think the first thing for me is how dominating and how consistent they've been all season long. The Phoenix Suns ranked top five in offensive and defensive rating, and then they rank top 10 in every other statistical category besides offensive rebounding. So they dominate the game each and every night, and then they've also been super consistent. Right now they have a record of 55-14. We've seen them go on the 18-game winning streak, and then we've seen them go on another 10-plus game winning streak, which put them in elite company in NBA history. And then also the Phoenix Suns, they were one of the best teams last year. They come into the season keeping their main core intact, and they've added a couple of more guys, but they still found a way to get better. They still found a way to get better than what they were last year, basically with the same group of guys. Right now, the Phoenix Suns are on pace to win 65 games this season, and I believe that will be a franchise record. So I feel like they've been the most dominating and the most consistent team all season long. So that's one factor. And this next factor is adversity, which I feel like is the most important factor for a team to go through. If you can get over adversity, then you can win a championship. And I feel like the Phoenix Suns have done that. And it shows a lot about Coach Monty Williams, who's probably going to win Coach of the Year this season. And then it also shows a lot about your personnel. It shows a lot about your team. And a lot of people don't know, before Chris Paul went down, the Phoenix Suns have been plagued with injury all season long. And it really starts at the beginning of the season. Look at the time that Cameron Payne missed. And Cameron Payne, his role to this team is so intricate because he's supposed to be the guy that allows Chris Paul to not play so many minutes. And with him being out, we seen Chris Paul step up and turn his game up a notch. When Cameron Payne wasn't playing, Chris Paul was averaging 18 points and 12 assists, and that's just elite level basketball. And then we seen it with DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton has missed he's missed 21 games for the Phoenix Suns this season, and they have a record of 18-3. And the reason for that being is that the Phoenix Suns, they do the next man up better than anybody else in the NBA. If we look up look up next man up in the NBA dictionary, a picture of the Phoenix Suns is going to pop up. But while DeAndre Ayton was out, we seen JaVale McGee get inserted into the starting lineup, and he played nothing but great basketball for the Phoenix Suns. And he didn't give DeAndre Ayton level production, but he did exactly what the Phoenix Suns needed him to do: run the floor hard, protect the rim, roll hard to the rim, catch lobs, and finish around the paint. And his numbers were pretty impressive when DeAndre Ayton wasn't when he was starting for DeAndre Ayton. He was averaging 12 points a game, 8-9 rebounds. He was playing really solid basketball. And then they picked up Bismack Biyombo, who came in and helped fill that hole that DeAndre Ayton left as well. So that's that. And then there's been 2 different points of this season where they had to play without Devin Booker, and I believe they have a record of 8-3 when D-Book didn't play. And that's because other guys stepped up and helped fill the hole that he left when he's out with injuries. And that's Mikal Bridges. He steps up big time when D-Book didn't play. We seen Cam Johnson have the best game of his NBA career, hitting 9 out of his 12 three-point shots. When the game that D-Book didn't play, Landry Shamet steps up, and it's just a real great camaraderie going on. And then we look at where they at right now without Chris Paul, 7-4 without him, and Cameron Payne has been doing a great job without Chris Paul playing. And he's averaging He's playing great basketball. He's averaging close to 10 assists, and he's putting up like 15, 17 points a game without Chris Paul playing. So you see what I'm saying? That the Phoenix Suns play great basketball when they're missing a guy that's injured, and that's really special when you can have that. And then another thing that the Phoenix Suns do that I feel like the rest of the NBA does is they don't fall in love with the 3-point shot. And when you look at their three best players on this team, they make their money in between the 3-point line. You look at Chris Paul. Chris Paul is one of the best mid-range shooters of all time, and we see him manipulate the pick and roll because he's such a threat at the mid-range. It opened up so much for who's ever rolling, who's ever sitting at that weak side corner. Chris Paul mid-range ability and his passing ability just opens up a lot for the Phoenix Suns. And you look at Devin Booker, also one of the best mid-range shooters in the game today. He doesn't fall in love with the 3-point shot. Now, we see D-Book. Now, if he's having a night where he's hot, he's going to put up threes, but he's not a guy that he's not going to jack them up like we see James Harden do sometimes. He's going to get to his spot. He's going to get to his mid range. He's going to get to the rim, and he's going to make his mid range shots. And then DeAndre Ayton, their third best player, he lives in the post, and he loves to hit those 15, 12 footers. That's where he makes his bread and butter. And then also he's pretty good around the rim as a lob threat. He has post moves. He has the baby hook to his game. And I feel like with not falling in love with the 3-point shot, it's going to be much harder to stop teams that get to the rim and get to the mid-range spot. Because I think when it comes to 3-pointers per game, the Phoenix Suns rank 20th in the NBA. They don't take many threes per game. And then also, you guys know this was coming, but their depth really sets them apart from the rest of the NBA. And the only team that can match up with them depth-wise, I feel like, is the Miami Heat. But the Phoenix Suns, their depth, they got guys on the bench that could be playing. You look at guys like Torrey Craig, who's come in since the trade deadline. It's been really solid since he played. Aaron Holiday has shown up big since Chris Paul went down. Cameron Payne doing a great job running the offense while Chris Paul is down. Mikal Bridges, he's a part of their depth. Even though he's a starter, he's not a star player yet. He's a very good role player right now. Cam Johnson, my favorite Phoenix Suns player. Well, I think the sky is the limit for him. Before I started doing YouTube, before I got into making videos for real, I used to always say, like, why doesn't Cam Johnson start over Jay Crowder? But I understand it now. It's better to have him off the bench to have that shooting punch. And then Jay Crowder right now, and at this point of his career, is probably a better defender. But I used to think, like, why do they have a guy like him who can shoot the ball like that coming off the bench? But it makes more sense now. So guys like that, JaVale McGee, Bismack Biyombo, all these guys, the Phoenix Suns have depth. And then the last thing, the most important thing, is that this is a team with no egos. Nobody has no personal agendas. Nobody is begging for the spotlight. Nobody is begging for attention. They play with teamwork every night, and they have a real brotherhood going on. We see it with them whenever they warm up before the games. They're having fun with each other, and you could just tell they all enjoy playing the game of basketball with each other. And I feel like that's the biggest thing, man, chemistry. If you get your chemistry right and you love playing basketball with the guys that you're playing with, it's going to be very tough for a team to beat you in the playoffs. And I think right now, the Phoenix Suns have to be the favorites to win the NBA Finals. They just set the bar so high. They have 55 wins on the season. That's so much more than any other team in the NBA. And that's that, man. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below if you think the Phoenix Suns are the favorites for the NBA Finals, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's Curtains.